In today's tutorial, I'll show you how to create this Tristar patch representing the wonderful state of Tennessee. My goals in teaching you embroidery is to do three things: create simple and easy to follow along tutorials, make the program less intimidating, and start embroidering projects either as a hobby or for you to start earning money. So let's go ahead and get started. Start with the stars first. All right, so let's just zoom in a little bit on a star. Let's go digitize open shape, and we're just going to go point to edge on all these far points. This will help us decide where the middle is. So let's go ahead and do that all the way around. Enter, click, click, enter. Same thing all the way around. So now this is going to show us where the center is. So then let's go to digitize closed shape. We're going to have a fill selected and a satin, and let's just go point, edge, middle, edge, and then the point. That's going to create our first object. Let's go ahead and turn off auto split. Well, let's select our object, turn off auto split. My machine can handle this length of satin stitch. And now let's go ahead and create this design all the way around. So you can either, most people would just duplicate it, move it, and then try and adjust it accordingly. And it would take a long time to set everything up. Let me show you an easier way to do this. You can just select your first object. You can go down to create layouts. And then this circle layout, you can click it and it'll actually duplicate this all the way around in a circle. So this section up here can duplicate it, say 20 times if you wanted to create something a little bit different. But we're not going to do that. So let's just create 5 objects. So we're going to select our first object again, circle layout, change it to 5. And let's just go ahead and adjust it accordingly. You kind of want to overlap it a little bit in the middle. You're going to hit no to merge overlapped objects, and we're going to create our first star. After that, we can go ahead and duplicate it, which is Control D. And now you can adjust it accordingly to these other ones. It's only 3 of them, so it's not too bad. I'm just going to do it myself. Come down. Let's go ahead and get them close. Click it once to rotate it and change the angle. And now we have our 3 tri-stars, or tri-stars. So now it's important to then set up your sequence. So first off, in our sequence, I'm going to go ahead and delete these running stitches that I created, and I accidentally duplicated them. So let's just go ahead and delete those. And let's check our pathing. So you're going to hit T. Actually, let's just run the player. If you hit T during the player, you'll see if there's any jumps. So you see there's a trim there with this triangle. That's what we're going to try and avoid. So let's just change T again. Let's find our first object and hit H, and let's see where our start and our stop point is. So it's right there. Let's see where our next one is. Start, stop point. If we have all of our stops in the middle, it's going to pretty much create a bulletproof design. So I want all of our stops to run along this edge. All right. So for this, I'm actually going to start it over on this corner and then stop it right here. Okay. Now it's going to cut to that. It's going to jump that to the next design. So we then want to take our next design, hit H, and then start it exactly where the other one stopped. All right. And then if we hit T, it removed that jump stitch. So that's what we want to do. This one, I'm going to end right there. And then I'm going to go all the way around and do the exact same thing. So H, center, stop, H, move your start, move our stop, and then H, same thing, start, stop. Now your tie-in and tie-outs are just going to be once along these edges. All right, and then now that we have this one set up, let's go ahead and group this. And what I'm actually going to do is delete these other ones, and now we're just going to create these since they're already sequenced properly. And now we can move everything around. Okay. So now that we have our Tristar middle, let's just go ahead and go to the player again. Hit T so we can kind of see. Let's see if we have any jumps. All right, let's zoom in. All right, it's looking good. We got one jump there, just coming to the next object. You could make the centers where you want the jump, and it'll get rid of that trim if you wanted to, but I think it's fine. It's not that big of a deal. Now that we have our Tristar, let's go ahead and create our middle. So let's go to Digitize, Circle, and let's make it to the red. Okay, now that we got our circle, let's go and select it. Let's move it to the bottom and let's change it to white. We're actually gonna make it a tatami. So now we got our tatami on the inside. Let's kind of just adjust it just a little bit accordingly. You kind of want to make this a little bit of an egg shape because of the push-pull compensation. And now let's create our border. Select it, we're gonna duplicate our border. Let's go ahead and change it to an outline satin. We're gonna go ahead and change it to metric. Let's make a 4mm border. I think that'll look perfect. Stitching. Let's go ahead and do our edge run. Double zigzag. That's what we like to do. If you're doing a seamless border on the water soluble stabilizer, you would stitch out the objects and the fill first. So actually, I'll go unhide all, delete that. Let's go ahead and change this to red. And now you have your original image. If you go to T, you can see the border should work just fine. And this, you can change up the colors however you want. So I've done them. You'll see a picture if you do like pink. And add a pink border. That could be a really cool patch. And what another awesome feature of Hatch is if you have your design and you go up to customize design and you go to the color wheel, you can actually create different designs you think would be cool in this little design. So if you like purple, you can change it to purple without having to select through all this. So that's a awesome little feature that Hatch does, but let's go ahead and go back to the original design. I'm gonna take the edge. Let's just change the stitch angle to straight across. One last thing you wanna do is kind of see the overlap. Make sure that we do have overlap on our Tristar. So it does look like it overlapped a little bit. We might just want to go a little bit more because of that push-pull compensation, but we should have done that at the beginning of the design. But I think this will stitch out just fine, and I hope it stitches out for you. Hope you enjoy.